So this essay from last week is done in perfect MLA formatting, so you can go back and refer to that. Your essay will also be exactly like this in the formatting. So notice in the top there is the last name, space, and the page number. This is in the headings of your paper. So you header, sorry, with an ER. So you have to go to the header. The video that I showed last week gave instructions about how to do that technically. Notice that on page 2 it says 2 and on page 3 it says 3. You cannot do that manually. You need to use the page number function. So go back to that video if you're not sure how to do it. Then we have our heading on the left side. Everything's double spaced. Your name, my name, class, date you finished. We have the title in all caps. Notice there's no extra spaces. There's nothing is bigger, nothing is bolded. And in between the paragraphs, there's no extra spaces. So that video went through how to do all of that technically, but when you look at your paragraph, analyze it, see what you need to work on. Look at your essay. Notice we have our first indent here, and every subsequent paragraph is indented. The typing is size 12 Times New Roman, or a very similar font to Times New Roman. And most importantly, the last page is the works cited page. Notice that we still have our page numbering happening here. The title is Works with an S, cited, capital, capital. And then we have 5 entries here because in the paper there were 5 different sources used within text citations. So your paper matches your works cited, and the formatting is on the far left for the beginning of each citation, and then it indents if there's extra information that continues. All right, please also notice this whole thing is double spaced. There are no extra spaces, and it is in alphabetical order. So the order that I put these sources is not the order from my paper. It is alphabetical order. BA, BH, F, G, and S. These are all the last names, comma, the first names. All right, moving on to how are we going to put together that works cited page. So our class sources, this was homework. Some did, some didn't. Let's go through some of the information here together. All right, so you can see that it's the last name, comma, the first name with a period. So the only one that didn't really do that was Myra here. So her last name is Goodman. We want Goodman, comma, Maya, period. Okay, same thing for the rest of these articles that didn't get done. Food Inc. is a film. So here you are not going to use the name of the author, you're going to use the director. So I gave you all the information about how to do the in-class citations under your Essay 2 opinion where you submitted your essays. So for example, for Food Inc., you're going to use Kenner. That is the name of the director. The director is Robert Kenner, and your in-text citation has the last name with the time points. Okay, so we're going to use Robert Kenner in that first category over here instead of an author. Kenner, comma, Robert, period. The rest of these should be easy to find. Okay, the next category I did for you, but notice that these are in italics because they're titles of movies or books. And then the rest of these are going to be in quotation marks. This is a movie, so italics. And then In Praise of Big Organic is like a shorter, basically quotation marks are for shorter works. And so a YouTube video is shorter than, or a TED Talk, sorry, is shorter than a film. So we're going to use quotation marks, and then they have periods at the end. So all those little details, you really, if you're not a detail person, you have to force yourself to really pay attention to those things. Then the next thing that comes up is called a container. Now, a book is not going to have a container. A book is its own unit. There's no container that it comes inside of. But all of the articles have a container. Articles either come in a website, or they come in a magazine, or they come in a newspaper. So that's the container that it comes in. So can small-scale farmers feed the world? Let's take a look at this one, because this one is a little bit unusual. It's a website. So sometimes you have to do a little background research if your teacher didn't give you everything that you need. So this is the article, Can Small-Scale Farmers Feed the World? Here's the website, iied.org. You actually aren't going to use all of this stuff. You're just going to use the main website name. And then the name of the organization is the International Institute for Environment and Development. We have our author, our date, and our title. Now, they didn't capitalize the title because they're following some other format, but we still do. We don't copy their formatting. Okay, so iied.org is going to be our container. So when you give the website, you're going to put the name of the website, .com or .org, you know, whatever it is, the name of the magazine or the name of the newspaper with a period at the end. So this one, your addiction to processed food, comes from medicaldaily.com, but we don't need all of this stuff. We're going to write it normally so people can read what it is, medicaldaily.com. All right. So let's move on to the next category for these, which is the publisher. So books always have a publisher. You need to look at the back of the book or the inside cover. It'll have the name of the publisher, and then it'll also have the date that it's published. So for the Omnivore's Dilemma, you shouldn't have any trouble finding that. Look inside the book. This one's a little unclear, so I'm going to help you out with this one. If you go back to the article, I'm going to use the name of the institute here, International Institute for Environment and Development. And then notice after the publisher, oh my gosh, what's going on with my spelling? After the publisher, you put a comma. Now, for most articles that come from newspapers or come from websites or articles or magazines, sorry, you're not really going to have a publisher, and so you're not going to need to do that. And actually, I don't think we're going to need to put a publisher here either. So I'll X that out for you. Let's look at the situation for Food Inc. So Food Inc. is a documentary film. So if I look up Food Inc., there's the Wikipedia page for Food Inc. I can find out the production house that made the film. So if it's a big film, it might be something like 20th Century Fox, right? This is a small film, and it says distributed by Magnolia Pictures. So that's what I'm going to do for my publisher. It's not the publisher in this case, it's the distributor. So I'm going to put here Magnolia Pictures. If you're not sure, also, it always says right at the beginning of the film, it'll say like such and such ink or such and such pictures or such and such films. So that's going to be the producer, the distributor. Okay. Let's take a look, as long as we're on Food Inc., about what to put over here. I think with a film, we don't really need to worry about it unless it's a film that's housed in YouTube or housed in a specific place. But this film was distributed all over the place, so there's not exactly a container for it. So let's X out that one. But we do need to find this container and this container. Okay. Publisher. We need to find this one. Okay, this brings me to the date. Is that true? Oh, no. Let's actually also look at In Praise of Big Organic. So this is actually a TED Talk. So I gave you the YouTube link just because it's the easiest to find, but it's really all under TED.com is where you can, where they put out the TED Talks. So here I'm going to put TED.com. And then I'm not going to put anything here. Okay, the dates. Put the comma after these. When we're looking at the dates, you want to use the 3-letter month. Okay, so some case you won't have a month or a date, so you can just put the year and put the period. This should be easy to find. It'll be a year. You want to use the most recent year. Usually books have many publications, so look for the most recent one. Here, March 15th, 2011. So I'm going to use the 3-letter month for March, which is MAR. March has more letters, so I'm going to put a period showing that it's an abbreviation. And then the 15 is actually going to go at the beginning. So you won't always have a date, but if you do, it's in European style. 15 Mar 2011. So this one's good. Then at the end of all the dates, we need period. Ooh, sorry. Just like this, right? Period. How about Food Inc.? It says it's distributed in the U.S. June 12th, 2009. So I'm going to add that to our list. Oop. How about In Praise of Big Organic? What's the date on that one? I'm going to say March 8th, 2014. So here we go, back here. Oh, it's already here. So, we need to say March 8th. So, I'm going to put 8 Mar 2014. Now, I changed my mind about this because it looks like you really can only find this on YouTube. So, I'm going to put the website here so that it's easier to find. It's really judgment call on some of these things. Just do our best to make things the easiest to find as humanly possible. So the rest of this information is really easy to find if you look on the article. I gave you, like for example, at least some of these are the New York Times. So that would be your container. You can easily find the author and you can easily find the date. So I will leave that up to you to finish up. Okay. Good luck. And I'm sure I will make a video number 2.